In this HTML5 and JavaScript lesson, we will demonstrate usage of the color picker form input type, as well as tying it to JavaScript for your Ajax processing needs once again. Here is the finished product of what we will achieve in this video lesson. It will enable your users to click this input field and choose one of these standard colors, and if they don't like that standard color set, they can click Other and then use the color palette here to really pinpoint the exact color they want, the tone and the hue. They can even use RGB values here. Okay, and then there's my color. Let's put in another color, press submit, and we're showing you guys how to process these color values using JavaScript, so we can pick up those values in JavaScript and process them in any way we need, just like all the other stuff. Let's once again begin with a basic HTML5 web page structure and build our little application. So I'll go under this heading here and I'll type in choose color 1 : and here's where I'm going to have my input field. So let's type input type, and once you get the type attribute set up, it's going to be the type of color, and that's how you get your color picker to render to the screen. Now let's give this a name attribute and also give it an ID, and we'll call it color 1. Keep things simple. And the name attribute as well, color 1. Now let's close off this input tag. Now let's highlight that whole line and create another one real quick. Very similar line, and just call this choose color 2, and this one will be name of color 2 and ID of color 2, and its type is color once again, so it renders the color picker for the user. And the last thing we need in the HTML is the input button, like we've been using throughout the other lessons. Its type is button type, and if you wanted this to process in the traditional form type sense, you would make this submit type, and you would just encapsulate all these fields and form items within a form opening and closing tag. But since we're using JavaScript, we don't need a form opening and closing tag really. So when this button is clicked, it runs a JavaScript function called process data that we're going to put up in the head tag in just a second. And we use the onClick event to enable that. And this process data function is being sent 2 arguments. The first argument is the identifier for field number 1, the color number 1. And this one is the identifier. The second argument is the identifier for color number 2. That way we can access those values when this function runs. Okay, let's go into the head tag and let's place our JavaScript. So we'll place an opening and closing script tag there that we can place our JavaScript within. Then we'll have function, and the function name is process data right here. And we know that that function is looking for 2 arguments to come into it. So I'm going to make those 2 argument variables right now. I'm just going to name them C1 and C2. So I've created 2 variables that will identify with these 2 fields within our JavaScript. Now, much the same as we've been doing in the other lessons regarding HTML5 and JavaScript form processing, these new input types, we're going to gather those 2 values and put them in variables called CV1 and CV2. So this is color value 1 and this is color value 2. And the way we get those color values, the hexadecimal number for that color value is saying document.getElementById C1, which refers to this, and this refers to this. So once you target that element on the page, you just say .value. Use the .value property to get the value of what that color is. You store it in a variable called CV1. You do the same exact thing for CV2. Remember, this is in relation to this, and this is in direct relation to this field here. Now let's simply pop in an alert once again and give you guys those 2 comments that I've been giving you in the other ones about how to send these values through Ajax to a PHP script and then do whatever you need to do with them from that point. And Ajax is like a 2-way communication. You guys know what Ajax is, and if you need to learn how to use Ajax and how to program it from scratch using JavaScript, this is the video tutorial for you right here, this link. And I'm just going to leave that in the script so anybody can get to it. I'll now press Ctrl S to save the file, go to File, Preview in Browser, and I'm going to preview this in Opera. If I wanted to, I could put some break tags in there. Let me do that. Let's put 2 break tags there, 2 there, and that is good. Now let's go to File, Preview in Browser, Opera. Alright, now let me click my first color here. The second color is not in the standard color set there, so I'll click Other, and I'll go and fine tune it. Get the color I really want, OK, and then submit. And there are the two hexadecimal color values. Sorry, my tongue gets tied sometimes. Hexadecimal color values. Okay? And there you go. There. Now you've set up color palettes that people can use to really define distinct colors that they want. And you know how to process those with JavaScript now for all your form processing needs. Alright!